Hey everybody, welcome to another quick save review with me, RC. Today we're going to be taking a look at Keeper, the brand new game that literally just came out a couple days ago from Double Fine and I guess Microsoft at this point, right? Yeah, so I have finished this. This game is about 4.5 hours long. It's about what it took me to finish it. And I'll say it right out the bat, I like it. For those of you who don't know what this game is, it's a game where you play as a lighthouse, and believe it or not, a few other things as well. But yeah, we're gonna jump in here. I'm gonna let the game and the way it looks do a bit of the talking here. Let's jump into a chapter. I'm just gonna pick some random ones here so you can get a feel for what it is. Right? We'll start right here. So you play as a lighthouse. At least at first. A lighthouse with a spidery legs. Check this out. Pretty wild, right? Yeah. So you can dash around. Oh, and if you haven't noticed, there's a bird on my head. Bird's name is Twig. Twig helps you in different ways throughout the game. So Keeper is a puzzle game. It's part puzzle game, part walking simulator. You're walking everywhere. You're exploring everywhere. And there are sections of the game where the puzzles are a lot heavier, and there are sections of the game where you're just kind of walking and taking it all in. But this right here, I just want you to see. This is what makes Keeper right here. Look how gorgeous this game is. This game, while I like it, it's not so much a masterpiece in gameplay, but it is a masterpiece in art. The look, the music. Double Fine has created a beautiful game here, full of character, full of life, full of colors and vibrancy, and just the absolute craziness of this game, where it goes, where it ends up. You are going to be very surprised, and I'm not going to spoil it here because things get pretty crazy. So when you're playing as the lighthouse here, you have this light that you can move around as you're walking, which is kind of cool. And you can hit different things to make them bloom, like you just saw that flower up there. You can also hit the right trigger button at some point, and the lighthouse will focus in on that thing and fry it or, illuminate it. I don't think at this part we've unlocked that ability. That's one of the things with this game is it takes a little bit to get going. We're kind of in the very beginning, and it takes a good handful of chapters before you start really getting into the puzzle stuff. Like I said, part walking simulator. I think they really wanted people to understand that the beginning of this game, it's an experience, right? One of the other things I think I would compare it to is, you know the games by Playdead, like Limbo and Inside? While those games, nasty, creepy little things. By the way, I also want to point out the bird here. Look how the bird reacts in this area. Like, we're in a cave, so it scrunches down. Twig, very cute. But yeah, Inside, Limbo, you remember those games? It's very much like a linear adventure where you solve puzzles, try to get through. They're not entirely, like, super hard to play, but they are an experience, you know what I mean? Another game like Abzu. Abzu, if you play that one, the scuba diving one, which is really good. This is definitely more challenging than Abzu, but not by much, but it's, just as beautiful. So, while it might be like those Playdead games, here we go, we're going to zap these things. Ready? I guess this is where we get the ability. There it is. Thanks, Twig. You hooked us up. But Playdead and Limbo are more freaky, scary. This game is not freaky, scary, though. I guess I would quantify this game. I would describe it as a fever dream, honestly, because it does get pretty wild towards the end of it, to the point where I'm like, I'm not even sure I understand what just happened. But this is definitely an experience, and it's interesting. It's fun. I'm glad I played it, honestly. But yeah, the game is full of life. It's beautiful. It's, I have don't have a lot of games I could compare it to where like it actually has a bit of gameplay, but the gameplay's not hard. You're never going to be stumped by the puzzles. The puzzles are never tough. Like, look at the simple puzzle solving we're doing here just at the very beginning. Like, this is not hard. I'd barely even consider those to be puzzles, right? There are actual puzzles, though, as you go. They're just... They've trimmed all of the fat out, though. You know, if you think about point-click adventures from the 90s, you know, that Tim Schafer, who, founder of Double Fine, would have been involved with, those games always had the weird, like, you know, random puzzle solving, random puzzle solving solution. I guess what I'm looking for here. Random puzzle solutions. Let's go that route. Anyway, you know, you like combine the bread with the bird, and then the bird takes the bread, and you get the duct tape to wrap around the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, just that weird random solutioning stuff. That is all cut away here. Like, you're not going to find any of that stuff here. This was meant to just be a very straightforward, linear puzzle game where the puzzles are not hard. And I could see why, because the people who made this game, the people behind it, you could tell they want players to finish this game. They made it short. They made it easy to play through. And I get it, because you can tell they put a lot of work into this game. And they must have put a lot of work into this game, because this is the first game that Double Fine has released since 2021, when Psychonauts 2 came out, which is kind of wild. Psychonauts 2 has a lot more to it. You know, there's a lot of voice acting in it. There's story continuation, story beats, a lot of jokes. Here, we got to dash through this. Ready? But this narrative in this game, there's no talking. It's all told through just weird landscapes and the bird, and the enemies, of course, that you run into, like those weird flying black things that you going into that cave over there, you know. But yeah, this was also the first game they've released since they were published by Microsoft, I guess, too, which is kind of interesting, right? All right, so this might be the first legit puzzle, if you want to call it that. So let's go down and do this real quick. For those keeping track, I am playing this on Game Pass on PC. It is available, I think, just about everywhere, I think. Or is it just Xbox? I think it's going to be everywhere eventually. It has to be. It's a Microsoft game. I'm sure it'll come to Switch and PS5 and everything else later, now that Microsoft is putting their games over there. There we go. We gotta light these things over here. So this is what counts for puzzle solving in the very beginning of the game here. There are harder puzzles, I'm telling you. They do exist, but this is basically what you're doing. But yeah, I maybe it is just on Xbox and PC for now, so eventually I'm sure it'll come to Switch 2 and the like. Okay, I think that's a good look at that. Let's double back. I wish they had the level select through the menu right off the bat there. Let's go to the chapter select here. We're going to jump way ahead. I'm going to show you the other incarnation of the keeper that we become, and that is a boat. Try not to spoil too much here, but I want to show you why you should play this game. And playing as the keeper in the very beginning was fun and interesting and weird. And then eventually, something changes in the story, and you get to become this boat thing here. You can kind of boost around a bit. You can check this out. You can hit these jumps. Woo! You can still boost through these things here. But again, I want to reiterate, yeah, this game is not hard. It's not challenging. If you're looking for a challenging puzzle game, this is not it. If you're looking for an experience, and a beautiful one at that, this is definitely one to play, for sure. But keep in mind, it's short. Like I said, 4.5 hours long. But if you're looking to get a lot of different styles of gameplay, because this is like 3 or 4 games in one. Every time the keeper changes its look, the game completely changes the way it controls and the way it works. Like, you could see how it was when you were the lighthouse. Now that we're the boat, you could tell this completely changes the way you play the game. I'm gonna try to zoom through here. Okay, look at this. Another absolutely beautiful area. I'm trying to zoom through here, show you as much as I can. You can see here with the boat, you can still focus in your light on things too. Which you're gonna have to do at some point. You can light those things up to fry other things. There is one puzzle area that you play with the lighthouse that I thought was absolutely fun. The way it changes different... Like, it basically changes the whole environment around you depending on what you select. And it's the only time in the game they use it, which is so interesting that they don't bring that back at any point. It's only in the one part. I wanted to show it in this video, but I decided not to because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. Because it's, you know, maybe a third into the game. And I think that when you play it, it's going to be so surprising and so interesting that you're not going to want me to spoil it here for you, to be quite honest with you. We lit that thing up. That's... Okay, we're not blowing anything up yet. Eventually with this ship, you are going to blow stuff up. There we go. That weird pulsating pussy thing. You gotta blow those up. So, one thing I haven't talked about with this game is basically what the plot is. And the plot, if you really want to call it that, like I said, it's communicated through the environment without talking, you know, through the bird, that kind of stuff. You're basically the lighthouse, you know, you're the keeper, I guess, you're the light. Basically, that's what you're playing as here, and you're trying to rid the world of this like weird corruption that's taken over. Like you see these like gross pussy things that, you know, you destroy the rocks with here. That's just the start of it. There's all kinds of oily, gross black stuff all over the place, and that's the stuff you're trying to get rid of. And now we're looking for more of those things there. So these could be anywhere, I guess. It looks like there's one up there, but I can't quite shine my light on it. Oh. You can see that there's things up there that will shoot at them. So where are... Oh, here's one. There you go. So that shines a light there. So now those lasers are shooting in there, and here we go. Out of the cave. Through the waterfall. Whoosh. Look at that reveal. Beautiful. Look how beautiful this game is. I can't get over it. Absolutely gorgeous. So gorgeous, in fact, that, like, I was actually playing this game earlier today down here, and look, we reunite with Twig. There's Twig. Cute bird. Character of the year? For game of the year? What do you think? Twig? Or maybe Twig's baby. Look at that. Very cute. Super cute. I feel bad even showing this part in this review, though, because, man, the story beats are few and far between in this game. But yeah, my wife came down, saw me playing this, and she saw this boat part. This is where I was. And she was just like, this part, or she was like, this game is gorgeous. Like, what are you playing? And she rarely comments on what I'm playing. So for my wife to actually make a comment like that, I was kind of taken aback. Like, oh, you noticed I was playing a game. You notice the beauty that is Keeper. And she's right. So we got Twig and baby Twig back. And I think we'll show off this part, and we'll probably call it here, because I really don't want to show too much of this game off. But just know that I like it. Just know that I had a lot of fun with this one. Just with the experience alone. Like I said, don't expect too much from the gameplay itself, because you're kind of just moving the narrative and in the setting and the environment along as you go here. But just know that things get real weird as you go. Like, it may be weird to see that you play as a lighthouse in a boat at some point here, right? But as you get further, things get even weirder where you find yourself, and the ending is strange. You're just going to be like, wow, okay, wasn't expecting that, for sure. The other thing I want to say, too, is that this is a Double Fine game, so usually with Double Fine games, there's a certain... I don't know what you want to call it, like, there's a certain, you know, humor, I guess, that they put in their games, right? And this game doesn't have that. This game feels very much like, if I had to say, maybe more like a Devolver style game. That's what it feels like, you know? Because it's just kind of strange and things get real weird at times. And, you know, maybe it's not gross or crazy enough, but it is trippy enough to fit into that category. So this definitely feels like a kind of like branching off for Double Fine in a way. The lack of the Double Fine humor, it's not there. But the overall like trippy feel is there. You know, Double Fine like kind of coming out and just doing something different, you know, which is definitely something they've always done. They've always gone against the grain as to, you know, they don't really make games that are considered to be like the popular genre, right? And they definitely continue that here. Here we go. Here's a little bit of that trademark trippiness I was talking about. The mountain is alive? Uh-oh. Well, whatever came out of that mountain, it's totally corrupting the area here. This is not good. Not good at all. And that brings us to this portion here. Where in these next areas you will start doing a lot more puzzle stuff. Oh, and Twig has an emote. You can barely hear Twig over all the weird other sounds going on here. But yeah, this is where the puzzle solving actually starts here with this area. And by, like I said, quote unquote puzzle solving, it's not deep. It's not that deep, guys. It really isn't. We got this little guy. Here's a good example of like some of the other puzzles you'll run into here, right? Check this out. These guys are trying to bring this up. It falls. So, what do? Well, we send Twig. And Twig is strong, but not strong enough to lift this thing. So Twig's like, "Come on, baby Twig. Let's lift this thing." Look at that. Baby Twig listens so well. Wish my son listened that well. I was like, come over here, lift this. Look at this beautiful area. So for this particular area, you're going to be kind of dropping this guy that we picked up off. He's going to go jump in his hole. There we go. And believe it or not, I know you see 3 empty holes. We are now tasked with finding the 3 other... Oh, there's one here. This one, you gotta blow these things up to get them off. But you all have seen this kind of thing. You've seen me blow some of those up. Let me go see if we can find the other guys here. Oh, yeah. So there's one in here. So you can see that these little guys are kind of bullying him up there, right? So what we want to do is we want to shine a light on these anemone things. And then those guys will leave. And then we can pick up our dude. I think he'll come down. He'll be like, alright, now I can come down. It's all good. And we pick them up and we bring them back home, or we go find the other guys first. Whatever, however you feel, whatever you want to do. But there you go. That's a look at that. One of the other things I also want to point out too is that whenever you play this game, the camera is stuck. You have no control over the camera whatsoever. So wherever you go here, you see the camera moving. The camera is dynamic and does its own thing. So you are going to get into some tight spaces where sometimes it's odd and awkward feeling because you're not quite seeing where you need to go. So sometimes it feels like you're guessing, especially if you go backwards. Like if I come this way towards the camera, you can see like, okay, I want to go this way, but the camera's not moving. Okay, fine. There we go. It's almost like you have to compensate as the player. You have to compensate for the camera, and you got to move out of its way so it can pivot around. That was one real annoying thing I would say with the game. It's like, not that it came up a lot, but when it did, I was just like, move. Like, I'm trying to get by, right? Let's see. Can we get this guy before we call it here? Oh, yeah. Here's the last nasty pus thing. Oh, I thought we... Oh, there's one more. Got it. We'll get this one. They keep unveiling more of them. Too many pus things. But yeah, everybody, that is Keeper. And it is definitely worth experiencing, I would say. As I said already, don't expect too much from the gameplay or the puzzle solving. You know, if you're just here to experience and enjoy beautiful landscapes and go on a like kind of a crazy fever dream journey, then I think you're going to have an excellent time. But there you go, everybody. That is Keeper. And I'll see you all in the next one.